Hello, children. Welcome back to our geography class. Now, children, today we will be starting a new chapter, that is minerals and energy resources. Though CBSE has this year kept this chapter only for math work, but I would like to give you some background of the different mineral resources so that you do not have any problem in understanding its location very easily, and also in the manufacturing industries chapter where you have to do the mineral based industries, you can follow very easily. So, children, one thing you must know, that minerals are natural resources because they occur in the nature, and we human beings extract those minerals which lie within the earth crust. They may lie below the surface of the earth, they may lie above the surface of the earth, and through different processes we take out these minerals. These minerals are not evenly distributed throughout the country. There are some parts of the country which are having more amount of mineral resources, and there are some parts which lack in mineral resources. Like for example, the plateau area is mainly abundant in the minerals which are especially ferrous in nature. Ferrous means they are containing iron. Similarly, children, the northern plain do not have much amount of mineral resources, and in some areas, children, we find there is more stock of our energy resources. So, these mineral resources and energy resources are widely distributed throughout the country. Now, first thing you must know that there are different categories of minerals found. Now, these categories of minerals are generally divided into three main groups: metallic, non-metallic, and energy minerals. Now, among the metallic minerals are those minerals which contains metal, like for example iron, gold, silver, platinum. They are all metals, and some of these minerals are heavier. Some of these metallic minerals are heavier, some of them are lighter. The lighter ones are like your gold, silver, platinum, and the heavier one are those which have iron in it. Like for example, iron ore. Iron is heavy. Okay, children. So they come under ferrous group. So metallic minerals are again subdivided into ferrous and non-ferrous group. There is another group which is precious. So in fact there are three groups of metallic minerals. In the ferrous group we have minerals like iron, nickel, manganese. They are heavier. Then in case of non-ferrous group, that is which do not contain iron in them, they are like copper, lead, tin, bauxite. Now there is some difference. How can you identify? Apart from weight, that is heavy and lighter, ferrous mineral, they can easily rust if they are kept in open. Non-ferrous never will rust. Like for example, children, copper. You will find that all our electrical equipments have copper in them. There is a copper wire in the electric bulb. If you open a fan, you will find there is copper wiring. In the homes also the electric wiring contains copper. So copper, lead, bauxite, etc. See children, bauxite is a raw material of aluminium. You will find that aluminium never rusts. Aluminium utensils are used in our homes regularly. The huge body of aircraft is made of aluminium, so it never rusts. So metallic and non-metallic, apart from being heavier and lighter, these are the additional features. And of course ferrous minerals are mainly found from greater depth of the earth crust in comparison to the non-ferrous. Like for example, bauxite will always occur on the surface of the earth. Precious minerals, children, on the other hand, are very, very light, and they are used in lesser quantity because they are very costly also. Some of the precious minerals are like gold, silver, platinum, etc. Then comes our non-metallic. Now these minerals are uh, not containing any metals. Like you will find granite, marble, limestone, sandstone, mica, salt. All these are different kinds of minerals, but they are non-metallic. Like for example, children, the granite slab which is there in your kitchen or the marble flooring of the house is totally of these minerals. Then this sandstone is used in construction work, like the red sandstone is used in the Red Fort of Delhi or the Agra Fort. And if you go to Jodhpur and Jaisalmer, children, you will find that the sandstone that is used there is of yellow color because the desert sand there is yellow. And this side, in the Delhi Agra side, the sandstone has a reddish tinge. Of course, now it is colored for maintenance, but the original color of the sandstone that was used for building had a reddish hue. Hue means the color or the tinge. And then comes the energy minerals. Energy minerals are all those minerals from where we derive some kind of energy in the form of light or heat. So coal, petroleum, natural gas are being used in our country since a long time back, and they are the ones which are supporting our industries. They are the ones which are supporting our electricities in the home. They are the ones which are supporting even the transportation network of the country. So these are the basic minerals which are there. Now these different minerals occur in different ways. Like for example, we all know that the igneous rocks are the basic rocks of the country. Basic rocks, not only of the country but of the world, children. I'm sorry. Igneous rocks are the basic rock, or we can also say they are the primary rocks. The sedimentary rocks are the secondary rocks, and the metamorphic are the tertiary, because metamorphic is formed from the previously formed igneous and sedimentary rock. Now here, children, you will find that the rocks contains metals and minerals, but the minerals do not contain any rock, because a rock may have several minerals. That means it is heterogeneous. It does not have a distinct composition, but the minerals are a complete entity in themselves. They have a fixed chemical composition and a fixed structure. So a rock contains different minerals, but a mineral will contain a single mineral itself. It can also contain a metal. A rock may also contain a metal as well as a mineral, but a metal will not contain any rock. Similarly, a mineral will not contain any rock. They are homogeneous and have a fixed chemical composition and structure. Now, igneous rocks are, as I said, are the basic rocks, and igneous rocks are formed from the solidification of molten magma. Sometimes this magma may solidify before coming up on the earth's surface. So they may solidify in small amount, or they may solidify in huge quantity. When they solidify in small amount, it is known as veins. And when they solidify in huge quantities, they are known as lodes. So we have different categories of metallic minerals. Most important one is iron ore. You will find all the plateaus of our country, the major iron ore belts of the country lie in the plateau area. You will not find sedimentary soil or the sedimentary rocks are containing iron ore. Iron ore is always present in the igneous rock belt because the igneous rock is formed from the solidification of molten magma. The magma comes out from the mantle layer, which is rich in iron, and so iron ore will be found only in the plateau area. So apart from our this iron ore, we have tin also in this example. Then the sedimentary rocks are always deposited in layers. So the sedimentary rocks are beds or layers in them, which can be easily identified because after one layer of deposition, again there is another layer. There may be a gap, a time gap of maybe 100 years, and layer after layer is deposited, and because of presence of layer, we also call it stratified rocks and also sedimentary rocks. Like for example, it may also be formed by evaporation. So when it is formed from evaporation, it is known as chemically formed sedimentary rocks. Like our salt deposits are the example of chemically formed sedimentary rocks. Our gypsum, potash salt, sodium salt, the salt that we are consuming, sodium salt, that is an example of chemically formed sedimentary rocks. Coal is an example of sedimentary rock. Okay, so sedimentary rocks always occurs in beds or layers. Then there is another group which will occur on the earth's surface as a residue. Why residue? Because the other parts of the rock has been washed away or eroded away, and only that portion which is not affected by the erosive agents will remain back. Now this portion which is not affected anyway by weathering and erosion, that remains as a residue on the earth's surface. Now bauxite is formed in this way, in this manner. Bauxite is always there on the surface of the earth. We do not have to go into deep mines to take out bauxite. In case of coal, petroleum, we have to enter into deep mines. But in case of bauxite, it always occurs on the earth's surface, and it is known as quarry. Quarry are the areas where the minerals is extracted just on the surface of the rock. There is no need to go deep down in case of bauxite. So they remain on the earth's surface as the residual mass of weathered material. Whatever material can be broken down, eroded away, that is removed, but the mass that remains is known as residual mass of weathered material. And then in the next category, children, we have some minerals which occur as alluvial deposits on the earth's surface, and these alluvial deposits remain generally intact. They are not affected very much by weathering because they contain metal in them, and when they are carried forward by erosive agents and deposited, they remain intact. Generally, we find the metals like gold, silver, platinum are carried from their place of origin, or from the high mountains. The rivers wash them and deposit them in the plain areas or at the foothills of the mountains or plateaus. And because they are placed from their original area to some other place, it is also known as placer deposits, because they are carried from their original place and deposited in another place. Now the last category is the ocean water. You will be surprised, children, that the ocean contains vast deposits of different types of minerals, and these vast deposits of minerals, though they are very much difficult to mine, but still some minerals are extracted from the sea and the ocean bed. And in the first chapter, children, you have already read that our India government is mining manganese nodules from the bed of the Indian Ocean, and salt, of course, is extracted in huge quantities. So this difficulties there, because the mining has to be done below the water surface, and it is widely spread out. That's why, children, this extraction becomes difficult in case of extraction of minerals in the ocean water. Now, children, to sum up, we generally find that our country is richly endowed mostly in the ferrous minerals, because a large area of our country is occupied by plateaus, and these plateaus contain different varieties of ferrous minerals in its different parts. In fact, we are very much richly endowed with iron ore. The sedimentary rock deposits of our country, especially in the eastern part of our country, that is the northeastern part, contains our petroleum deposits. Even the area in Gujarat and close to Gulf of Cambay, they also contain the oil deposits, and also we have coal deposits in the bordering areas of this plateau region. So in some areas of our country we have rich coal deposits, especially the bordering areas between the sedimentary rocks and the igneous rocks. So all these different kinds of minerals are very much important for the economic development of the country. They have supported our manufacturing industries. Different types of mineral based manufacturing industries are just flourishing based on the supply of minerals of our country, and these mineral resources are rich natural resources which requires to be conserved carefully. These mineral resources requires lot of care in their conservation and management, because we all know that these mineral resources are non-renewable resources, and even if they form, some of them will form, like for example coal, natural gas, petroleum, or the mineral oil. It will form, but it will take millions and millions of years, and there is no definite time period for its proper formation. So they need to be conserved very much. Similarly, the metals also, they need to be conserved, though we know that the metals can be recycled, but still conservation of mineral resources and the energy resources is very much necessary if we want sustainable development, if we want the future generations to enjoy these mineral resources. So conservation of mineral resources is very much necessary. So children, this was my introduction of the mineral resources. Next class we'll start with the map work of the mineral resources. Thank you, children. Go through the video, listen carefully, and also take down some important points which you find in my lecture. Thank you, children.